Oh, come on. There we go. First, before we do anything else, we're going to practice real briefly applying series and parallel. You cannot possibly pass a large fraction of the exam. You cannot possibly get it right unless this clicks. Once it clicks, a lot of things get a lot easier. If you're struggling with this, listen up. Google Form A, Google Form question A, state the defining condition for series. Please be complete, but keep it short. I do not want, does not have to be complete sentences. No more than one sentence. It's short enough for me to actually read. Oh my goodness, so many people coming in already. And zooming, which I advise against. Okay, touch up. Quick like a bunny. 10 seconds. All right, not too shabby. Most people said, more than 75% said they are connected without a junction. They're connected at a place that nothing else connects to. By the way, when I say nothing else connects to, connected to, I'm talking about wire. There is a straight line, there's an there's a wire path from one place to another. If you've got an interrupting component, for instance, on the break parallel. So there's a wire going from one side of one component to one side of the other component, and there's nothing else touching that component. Parallel is harder. All NASA students screw up parallel. So let me ask for a couple of volunteers to demonstrate parallel. I think I need 3 people to demonstrate parallel. To volunteer, you must be okay with holding hands with me and your classmates. Well, let's have 5 volunteers and you don't have to touch the specimen. Sound good? Okay, come on up. Come on up. You're willing to hold hands with your classmates. Come on up. Obviously. Oh, one more. Come on, one more. Come on, Marcus. I don't even know what this plan is. This is physics 112. Just kidding, it's biology. Okay, so each person is a component. Please note, this series of parallel does not apply just to resistors. The resistor addition formulas only apply if you've got just resistors, but series and parallel is not just resistors, it's anything. Okay, why don't you all hold hands and take a bow real fast? The beginning, why do we do this? This is series. Their arms and hands are wired, their bodies are components. Okay, this is series. You could have your hand connected to some other part of the circuit. You could have your heads are not wired. Okay, you could have your other hand connected to some other part of the circuit, or maybe you're a transistor that does have 3 leads. Okay, well, we haven't gone to transistor. Okay, so anyways, these components could be connected to other things on the rest of the circuit, but their relationship to each other is all a series relationship. All right, now grab this. There, no. She's a series record. It's like a home record, but she's a series record. Look, three wires coming together. Three wires coming together. That is not series. Parallel? Not necessarily. Make a note if you are surprised by this. Series is not the opposite of parallel. You can be both. You can be neither. Like gender. Okay, so now let's grab your other hand, grab their hands. No, she's a parallel component. She's parallel with him. Because they can think, right? Both hands are holding both hands. Notice she's in parallel with him. She's not in parallel with anybody else. Okay? Being in parallel with one component does not mean parallel with anything else. Is he in series? Is she in series with anything? No. Look at their hands. Their hands are touching. So anyway, three components of that. Okay. What else can we do? What breaks parallelness? We showed what breaks seriesness is that there's three leads, three wires touching. What breaks parallelitude? Okay, I'm gonna have you come over here. Have you release hands? You grab hands. There. This has broken parallelness. Notice, there are still junctions, they're still connected to three components. Connections of three components alone do not mean parallel. Just because you got a node doesn't mean there's parallel. No one's dancing. No one's holding both hands with both components. You see that? There are no two people that both hands are touching both are touching both. Yeah? All right, let's go back to a series configuration. Very good. He's quite fast. And take a bow. All right, thank you very much. Okay. What about the amputee component? Only one arm. What if you only got one arm? There's nothing else connecting to the other arm. That's not a circuit component. You can't be part of a circuit if only one place touches. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. There also ain't no such thing as a component with only one side connected to a circuit or only one side existing. Oh, please tell me my video is on. Oh, Jacqueline. Oh, my online people. Oh, that's hashtag sad. You missed such a fun example. I'm afraid you'll have to go along with the diagrams. Oh, maybe this is an incentive to ground in class when you go. Okay. Anyway. Again, definition of series. Most of you have all got this. Definition of series, they're touching. Nothing else touches that hand. Nothing else touches that handshake. Parallel, they're dancing. Both hands touching both hands. There's a wire path from one side of one component to the other side of the other component, and the wire path from one component to the other component, and the other side of each component is also touching. Let's apply this real fast. Let me draw some god-awful combinations real fast. I want to emphasize that this does not just apply to what does this not just apply to this does not just apply to resistors. I'm going to draw generic components. They could be anything. They could be batteries, they could be resistors, they could be your mama, they could be anything. Okay, let's name them. Yeah, left to right, top to bottom, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Y'all can read this, yeah? Google form. Separate by commas. List all pairs that are series. If three things are in series, let's both pairs that make up. So Google form, what is this? C? We're on C? C? Yeah? As we say in Spanish, C? Oh, B. Sorry. They're in my eyes. I don't see them. They're B's. List all series combinations in B. Oh, and for what it's worth, like this could be connected to other stuffs. This could be connected to other stuffs. The wires just trailing off into space, those are still connected to some other part of a circuit. Just imagining this is some clump in a circuit you found. Okay, want everyone to make an attempt. You have like 30 seconds left. Chop, chop, quick like a bunny. B, C, all have junctions, not series. Yeah. Several people tell me connected without a junction and then tell me A, B, and C are in series. What's a junction? Three or more components are coming together. Okay. A and B also touch G, also touch H. B and C also touch E. That breaks seriousness. I want to emphasize A, B, and C are not in series. Even though they're drawn along a line, doesn't mean they're in series. It's about the wires, man. It's all about the wires and their connections. It's not about the angle stuff is drawn. D, F, H are in series. D is in series with F. F is in series with H. Look at the connection. They connected. There's no junction here. No third component comes in. They married. Well, F is also married to H. I don't know. Maybe it's a chain there. Whatever. Maybe you could say like a series is like being an ancestor, being father. D is F's father. F is H's father, and H doesn't have any brothers. Right? Here, maybe. Yeah, oh God, I don't know. That's about. Okay, so note also, by the way, the fundamental foundational principle. Any electron that enters D has to exit it at the same speed. Any electron that enters F has to exit at the same speed. All points along a series line are have the same current. Kendra, I want to, or it's K-Money, right? I want to, but it takes a while. It takes a while to shade them all in. And I think on the projector, it makes it crappy. If you remind me, I will try to do it when we do final review the day before, or the week up. Or in that one. Okay. DFH are in series. GE are also in series. Question. Oh, thank you. Alex also does colors. Maybe paint by colors, maybe resistors by colors, one or the other, I don't care. No, I do care. Okay, so the only series combinations are DFH and GE. Parallelisude. Are there any parallels in the circuit? Any two components that are shaken both hands? Yeah, Kendra, I just said that. That's what he said. GE are in series. Any two components that anyone sees that are dancing both ways without a third party in between. None. Not a single one of these is connected at both ends to something else. Yeah. No, I mean, because it's nothing, right? Oh, hell, let me make this, now there's a parallel. Can you find it? They don't have to be straight wires. It'd be bicurious. I already made that pun. Hey, put this in to see. Here's things really. Can you find a parallel combination now? I'll tell you there's one and only one parallelness now. So far, so good. A bunch of people correct. Making me happy. Okay, time's up. GH. GH. They're connected to one end with only wire. Wow, that's a long arm. They're connected to the other end. It's a really long arm, but whatever. There's an all-wire path with no component in the way between both, connecting both ends to both ends. Great. Now let's apply this to the one of the three resistor circuits. I may ask you to analyze this in exam. For the love of God, don't write down the equations for everything. I want you to be able to do the process. It's the process that does something for your brains. And for the sake of discussion, I'll call those A, B, and C. Might as well practice this. I'm only going to give a limited amount of time. D, can you see anything in series with anything? E, can you see anything in parallel with anything? Can you see anything in series? That's D. Can you see anything in parallel? That's E. Uh, it's not possible for a single component to be in series. If your answer is a single letter, you're wrong. Series is a relationship between two things. You know, like motherhood is a relationship between a mom and their kid. You can't just have one person be motherhood. Motherhood does not apply if there's just one person there. So tell me, if you can, two components which are in series or more, the two or more components in parallel. Okay, now turn to your neighbor and argue about how does your definition apply? Do your proposed components touch where nothing else touches them? That's series. Do your components touch on both ends with nothing but wire? Ready, set, go. Turn to neighbor. Time's up. Battery is in series with A. They're connected. And there ain't no series record connected at that point. And they're not connected directly on the other end. The other end, they're not in parallel. You could be in series and in parallel. It is possible to draw a circuit where two components are both series or parallel, but this is not it. This is not in parallel with this because their other ends, there's stuff in between. You can't go straight from one end to the other end with this one. B or C interrupt. So the only things in series, the correct answer, la respuesta correcta for series is that battery and A are in series. For the next part, whatever that number is, E, I asked what is in parallel, B and C, and that's it. B and C touch at the top, B and C touch at the bottom. They're doing a little tango there. Wait, tango you hold around the waist. No, they're doing a little, what's the dance that you do this with? Old-fashioned dance, whatever. B and C, both bottom hands are touching. B and C, both hands at top are touching. B and C are not in parallel with A because there's a battery between their one side and their other side and A's other side. Yeah, question. The combination, yes, but I've still got a large number of students who can't recognize two at a time. You gotta walk before you can run. We'll talk about combinations. I want people to be able to focus on getting two things at a time before they combine that two things with another thing. Well, no, actually, here's the next thing. To find our total, you're going to have to do combinations. So here we go. Question F. Attempt to find the total resistance. This, go efficiently. I want to make sure to leave time for study guide and the parallel formula. So give it your best shot. That's not the formula. If you're not sure where to start, look for a series or a parallel of resistors. Put them together into a single equivalent resistor. You may find it useful then to redraw the circuit with the single resistor of the equivalent resistance. How much resistance? Use the series and parallel formulas that I presented. Then repeat, then repeat. Total. Yep, that's right. Okay, for time purposes, 1 more minute.
Hey, time's up.
Under what conditions do I add resistor values? Series, are these in series? The battery and the first resistors in series. B and C are not in series with each other. So you can't add a battery directly to a resistor. They're called resistor addition formulas, not component addition formulas. So the battery does not get, you can't do 12 plus 10. Well, actually, that works out to be the correct answer, but not for that reason. If you added these two directly and got 22, right answer, very wrong method. The only resistors which are combinable are B and C. 20 parallel, 30 is 12. 20 parallel, 30 is 12. 1 over 20 is 1 over 30 is 12. Now, if B and C were replaced by a single resistor, then it connects to the same place as it did. How is that connected to the circuit? Series, do you guys see that? Which is exactly what I was saying I was going to do. Well, we need it for this. And this combination is connected in series to A. How do we add in series again? Just add it. So if BC collapsed to 12, then ABC, the total resistance is 22. Turn to your neighbor and teach each other, because actually less than the 3 o'clock got this for some reason. I take it back. Just several people took a while. Okay, the student asked, how do we get 22? Again, as we go. B and C are parallel. Apply 20 and 30 to the parallel formula, you get 12. This is in series with A. The combination, the equivalent to 12, is in series with A, 10 and 12, and the parallel formula is 22. Okay. Okay. I explained. Good. Follow-up questions. Follow-up question. Question me. Well, I mean, you could do it in steps. Solve for that. That's RBC. If I add to that fraction, that's, you can write that as one thing. This is 12, then add 10. Yeah, it's good. Helps or makes it worse? Helps? Good. Next question. Question G. You have the total resistance. Tell me what quantity, you don't have to tell me a number, just what quantity, describe what could you do with that? You've got the total, so what? What's the next step? 30 seconds. The question G is, I've got total resistance. So what? What does that tell me? What's the next step? What do I do next? Okay, that's 30 seconds. Correct answer is find current. Remember, I define equivalent. I define total resistance as if I apply this to the same voltage, it'll draw the same current. The battery doesn't know if he's connected to these three or a single 22. He doesn't know he pulls the same current. How do you get the current that the battery's delivering? You got 12 volts applied to 22 equivalent ohms. V equals IR it. You got the voltage applied to the resistance. So I would get that the battery is supplying 0.55 amps. Immediately you could jump to knowing something else. Tell me, question H. You don't have to solve for it, but tell me what you immediately know once you know this. Once you've discovered the current, that leads immediately to the next step. You just found the current that the battery supplies. What can you immediately deduce? This takes more than one word. Describe. You've got the current leaving the battery. Describe a little more. What can you find from this? I think 3 or 4 words. This is where the who fits the rotating blade. You've got a current flowing into a resistor. Let's check it first, right? What's I? Yeah, what is the value here? What's R? That's the total R. He's flowing into this 0.55 amps is going into this guy. Series, every amp that leaves battery has to go into A. So what's R? R is 10. 10 ohms. Okay, what's V? Okay, check this. Grab your calculator. What is 0.55 times 10? Is it 12? Is 0.55 times 10 12? What the heck, Tucker? I thought you told me V equals I times R. What gives? Does V equals I times R? Did I lie? No, I did not. What gives is that V equals I times R is usually, very often, commonly, not infrequently, misinterpreted, misapplied. Ver does not say that the voltage applied on one side of a resistor, there's 12 volts here, the voltage on one side of a resistor equals the current 3 times the voltage, the resistance of it. V in ver means how does this resistor change the applied voltage? I apply 12 here. Ver tells me how much of that 12 I lose by flowing through it. Again, the meaning of V in ver, V equals IR, is how much voltage is lost as current flows through that resistor. If I've got 0.55 amps flowing through 10 ohms, 5.5 volts are dropped. I have 6.5 left. Why 6.5? If I start with 12 and take off 5.5, left with 6.5. Yeah. Okay, now that is such a common challenge, goof, struggle. I want you to, again, I'm going to take the time, turn to your neighbor and explain what the heck, how the heck, why the heck did Tucker just say that the voltage here is 6.5? And then ask me a question.
current sensor based off of the components, the orientation of the components with each other. So that this is a series, so here the current is considered.
Series current always the same. That's how I do 0.55 amps flowing.
Right, even though
That's the
there's-
battery.
Even though there's parallel components.
So we're gonna later use that the parallels B and C have to add up to 0.55. Yeah, 0.55 amps flowing in, that's the total input current. So what flows out of that adds up.
Here on out the 6.5, because it's a parallel, it's gonna be constant.
Yes, so voltage is in the yellow blue voltage.
Gotcha.
Give me a question, give me a question. My question is, how the heck did Tucker get 6.5 volts on the right side of the 10 ohm? Sure. Yes, I did. I already did apply that these two are in series, therefore current is the same. That's how I knew 0.55 amps is flowing into this. We're gonna use a thing called 4 properties of that. And I use the principle that in series, voltages must add up. This guy is my giver, he gives me 12, not the giver, that's depressing, but this gives me 12 volts. The voltage here lost in this component, plus the voltage lost in these components, has to add up. 6.5 plus 5.5 is 12. Another question. Can get through this. This is huge. Yes. 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 Now, voltage, I don't want you to say goes into. Voltage is applied across. And this is important. Everyone. Precise language begets precise thinking. Voltage doesn't flow. Voltage doesn't go. Voltage is impressed upon, is applied to, exists from point to point. Current goes into, flows through, splits up, divides across branches, into branches. Principle of parallel circuits and voltage. What's the principle of parallel voltages? They are the identical voltages. This sucker is 6.5 volts. This sucker gets 6.5 volts. The total voltage is not 13. You cannot add those. I am my father's son. I am my son's father. Those are not two people. It's the same person. So this 6.5 volts is this 6.5 volts, is this 6.5 volts. Question. Great.
So the way I was just like a circuit, it's kind of like a shopping street.
Yep.
So battery gets home, your mom gives you like 12 dollars.
Yep, good. Good.
And then like each resistor will get stopped. So let's say you want to go to Denny's, that's big. And after that, you can go to movie theaters or you can go to Walmart.
4. Good. Yes.
And so like you go to Denny's, you're gonna spend $5.5. That's
Sure,
realistic, but let's say it's like back in the day before.
Sure.
And then after that, you can choose, all right, do I want to go to movies or do I want to go shopping right away?
Good.
They're both gonna take like the rest of your money.
They are both going to take the rest of your money. What makes you prefer one more than the other? If you do this every day of the year, you're going to spend more time going to the place that you get more fun out of, right? You're going to prefer one over the other. Which is current preferred, you think? The less resistance. Current preferred. It is a lie to say that electricity always travels the lower resistance path. Wait, that's not how people say it. What's the saying that people have? Electricity always what? Seeks the path of least resistance. That's a lie. Electricity prefers the path of least resistance. Electricity will still follow other paths, just inversely proportional to their resistance. Okay, next, follow this. Riddle me this, Batman. I got 6.5 volts. By principles of voltage, that 6.5 volts is here, that 6.5 volts is there. What do I know then? What can I do? What's the next step? Verb. If you've got the voltage across and the resistance of, what can you find? The current through. Let's do that. Plug and choke.
6.5 divided by 20 is up point 33. 6.5 divided by 30 is 0.22, rounded.
Great Scott! Wasn't want to say that. 0.33, 0.22. Add up to 0.55. There's another principle of parallel currents. They add to the total. 0.55 flows in. 0.55 must divide between the two. Incidentally, reminding you of the that example from the quiz last week, something. If this is a 2-to-3 ratio, this is a 3-to-2 ratio of current. 2-to-3 of resistance, 3-to-2 of current. This carries 3/5. This carries 2/5 of the total. Why fifths? This 3/5 plus 2/5 add up to 100%. It's a process. It's a long process, a longo process. Well, hopefully not rongo, longo process. But if you have internalized these tricks, these ideas of find the total resistance, find the voltage here, find the current there, find the resistance there, find the current there, find the voltage there, split these up, break it down. You could do these in your sleep. You can analyze almost any circuit. You can analyze any circuit that I would give you a test using these methods. I challenge thee. I take off my glove and throw it at thine feet. Go home and draw a circuit with 2 or 3 resistors and a battery. Make up numbers for the resistor values and solve the circuit. Go on, give it a try. Any circuit, I think any circuit with 3 resistors and 1 battery, you will be able to break up, break down, break all around, and apply these methods. If you get stuck, then go back to your notes or textbook if you've got it, and look at the process, the step-by-step that we did to discover, for me, to guide you through this. Last chance for questions. Yeah. Don't say voltage flows. Be applied to. 6.5 volts is applied to both B and C. That causes a greater current in the smaller resistance. It's the current that is bigger and smaller. Yeah.
So I understand that 6.5 volts is being applied to both B and C from the start. Does that change when it goes through it? Like
Yes,
went through
V
it?
equals I times R. 6.5 volts is 20 ohms times 0.33 amps.
So does that still like equate to it end up being 12 volts in the end as well?
The total voltage, 6.5 here, 5.5 here, what you gain, you must lose. Like the wonderful analogy, your mama gives you 12 bucks, you spend $6.50 going to breakfast, then either if you go to lunch or if you save and go to dinner, you've got to spend, especially with your generation, you're never going to end up with savings. I'm not smiling for, it's funny, I'm smiling because it's all too true. You're going to spend the rest of your money, either at lunch or at dinner. Note, any given electron either goes to lunch or goes to dinner, not both.
Yeah. By the end, does the final wire be like 0 volts?
0 volts. That we define 0 volts as the negative terminal of the battery.
And so you have to spend money at both.
You can't go to both lunch and dinner. You can only have 2 meals per day. Any given electron is only going to flow through 2 of these resistors before going back to battery.
But the total amount of money is going to go, some of it's going to be the same.
No, you're only going to be able to buy as much at B as at C because you only got $5.50 left.
Once you've spent $6.50, you choose to go to, or hell, maybe they're different restaurants for the same meal. Your second meal, you either go to KFC or the Whataburger. You've only got $5.50 left. You're gonna spend it at one or the other. You know, like that.
Think of like water and how it flows. Like just like electricity.
So voltage is pressure. Voltage is pressure loss. As you go along this pipe, you're losing 5.5, you lose 5.5 the bars. What's the unit of pressure? Pascals, whatever. There's 6.5 bars or units of pressure left across this dishwasher and this washing machine. I don't know. They both are connected to that same pressure. Have a second. Oh, no, I saw her first.
Concept that it's or to B or C, is there like a component that makes you go to the
You can't do both. Once you flow through B, your voltage is done. You ain't got no energy. You can't go up, back up C.
And it has a preference to go to C since it has less resistance. Does it ever, like in some real circumstance, does it then ever go to C?
Yes, absolutely. 2/5 of it goes through C. And the analogy for this is, suppose you got two roads. Suppose you've got a highway and I don't know, only dirt road. Not all the cars are gonna go down the highway. Some of them will go down the dirt road. Many fewer than the dirt road, inversely proportional to their resistance, but you will have cars on the dirt road.
So in the same regard, where you could spend all your money one at C versus B.
I don't know, suppose you do 1 billion trips. Suppose this is every day for a year. You always eat breakfast at the same joint. Some of the time you'll go here, some of the time you'll go there, and you'll end up going probably to the place that you get more food for your dollars. You're gonna end up going to B more often because their $5.50 gets more stuff, is more conductive. That's not a question. They've got a what? They got the Pogo. Pogo? What's Pogo? Oh, I don't get it. Okay, I would like to hit a study guide. I would like to do the parallel addition formula as well. I think that you guys you're gonna have to say, read the textbook. Please read the textbook. It's good for your brains to see where this parallel addition formula comes from, but I don't want to go super tight on time. I don't want to run out of time for this. So, study guide. Here we go. Where did I? What I should make you do is I should, no, we do have, that didn't happen. Okay, hold on. Two shakes of a lamb's tail. You write down every topic we've learned. Make a list. You don't know what you learned? Well, thinking about what have I learned in those will help. What's every central equation term idea that you've learned? Oh, the constant 6.25 times 10 to the 18. You don't need to memorize constants. I will always give you constants. If I forget to give you constants, ask me and I'll put the constant on the board. Nope. You can get energy into a circuit through a transformer, through an inductor. You can't get more voltage into a circuit when you have a battery that applies. But the energy is ultimately coming from the battery. You're just playing tricks with it with an inductor. Actually, with transistors and capacitors, you can do it. So when you do supposed to graph the current, has to decrease the current in that part of the circuit because the total energy has to be constant. Anyway, no, take it a minute, write down your, what you think the study guide is. Nobody has that. Some people have that. It's not like. When I was describing the current is served, that what goes into a junction must come out. I said, if three people go into a house, how many are later gonna come out? You know, they might go in the front, out the back door, and then go out the front door, but if three people go into the house, eventually, three people are coming out. Unless two of them have sex and they, or one of them's a serial killer, but electrons aren't serial killers or, able to reproduce.
What if people come into a single person?
That doesn't happen with like.
Okay.
And then, as we talk about quantum mechanics and Bose-Einstein pairs, but that is so far beyond the scope of class. I'm distracting you guys. You guys focus on writing down your thoughts on the study guide. What did you say? You done racking your brains? Here we go. Here's me racking my brains. When I say know a term, well, first thing, remember, I am including whatever we do next week. As far as we get next week, that's on the test too. That's a to-do though. Everything in electricity follows. Here are the 5 big terms we've been using. We haven't been using power a lot, hence I'm not going to be testing on it much, but you do need to know it. It is an important term, energy per time, power, wattage, current times volts. Power is current times volts. IB, 2. Okay. When I say know a term, thou shalt be able to explain it conceptually. Describe it. What does it mean? What's it taste like, man? Give it symbol, its unit, its unit's symbol, and its core equation. The difference between these things is like position, symbol is X, unit is meter. Meter could be abbreviated M. Yeah. Another example. You should be able to connect all these things together. You should be able to write a sentence for yourself. You're testing if you know these things. Say something like resistance R, which is measured in ohms, is defined by the equation resistance equals volts divided by current. It describes how much a given object opposes electricity flowing through it. You can write that down. You have learned a thing about the term resistance. Make sense? Is good? If you know all 5 of these terms, and presumably you know what time is, I'm assuming you remember what energy is, then you need to have all 5 in order to be able to define them. Because look, this depends on voltage and current. You don't know what voltage and current are, you may be screwed. Central core essence equations that you must be able to apply, recognize, and use. Oh, that looks like this is 2. this is written. Ver applies for resistors. Series resistance, add them, parallel, add their reciprocals and reciprocalify it. I'd actually call this the definition of current. And PIV. Power lost in or gained by a component is its current through it times the voltage gain or loss across it. What about that formula rho L over A? Remember, I want you to understand the concept of rho L over A. I want you to understand that how do we make a resistor of a given resistance? It has nothing to do with the voltage and current you apply. You have got a given chunk of material, its resistance is determined by its resistivity length and area. Am I going to ask you to plug that in? No. Am I going to ask you to reason about it? Yes. So these are the equations, these are essential equations that you're going to have to apply and manipulate and shove into each other. It takes this equation and shove it, but rho L over A, although it's not something you're going to apply 1,000 times. The idea behind it is super important. I'll write it in parentheses. There, he's kind of a core equation. This is what I put on my equation sheet. Sorry. And everything else is derived from this. Components. When I say you need to know the components, you need to know their symbol and their properties. What's a resistor? Well, there. Resistance of a resistor isn't caused by voltage and current, not caused by the electricity that flows through it, by its properties of it. Resistance isn't a property of electricity. Resistance is a property of resistor. You also need to be able to draw his symbol. Not his timpani, not his snare, but his symbol. What's the essence of a battery? Battery maintains constant voltage, does whatever it can, keep the voltage constant. Ammeter, voltmeter. You need to know principles of ammeters and voltmeters. What we said last class is super important. Ammeters, always in series, always low resistance. Voltmeters, always in parallel, always high resistance. Any addition of these still a battery? Technically, as I said before, that's a cell, and you have to have multiple cells in series to be a battery. I'm not going to test it. Skills, the big skill. The thing that will occupy the time on the test is analyze circuits with resistors and battery or batteries. You must be able to take any given circuit and find the voltage here, there, or anywhere. The current here, there, anywhere. The power here, there, anywhere. Total resistance here, there, anywhere. Of this, that, or anywhere. Now, I want to emphasize, as we've been practicing, as we've been demonstrating, this has sub-skills to it. For instance, what we just started with. If you can't identify series and parallel, you can't be doing this. So I'm assuming when I'm saying this, if you can analyze an arbitrary circuit and get the answer right, you must have these other skills, be able to identify series and parallel. Else, how are you going to apply the series and parallel formulas if you don't know what is in series and in parallel? You got to know the principles of voltage and current. Current can split at a junction. Voltage across parallel is always the same. In series, current is always the same. Those principles, I assume, are part of your understanding in order to understand circuits at all. Hell, they're kind of part of the understanding of the nature of current, the nature of voltage. And then understanding, very, very, very important. Last note I want to make, very important. Remember, V equals IR does not mean, in the example that I gave, remember the common group I gave, for students to take, this resistor is connected to a 12-volt power supply, so it's V equals IR, V is 12. Voltage is not what it's attached to in V equals IR. V equals IR tells me how much V is lost as a result of current. Yeah. Okay, so that's all included in this. If you have those, if you have problems with this, look at the sub-skills that go into it. Questions? Is there anything I forgot? Anything that you want to ask me, or are you going to test on this side or the other? Anything that's not on this list that you thought of? No one had anything not on this list? Anyone have anything not on this list? Okay, reminders, common themes, common important things, just like 2 more things. I'm gonna let you go a little early. 2 minutes early. Common important things to know by tests. Yes, you can have an equation sheet. What, 3 by 5 for the midterms? Equation sheet, both sides of 3 by 5. No, I don't care what's on the equation sheet. Please don't ask, can I have X on the equation sheet? The answer is yes. Midterm, you'll have the full period. The midterm will be 20-ish questions, 20 questions on comprehensive. Everything we've covered is fair game for the midterm. It'll be roughly evenly weighted. So like what is this? 1/5 of it will be magnetism. 1/5 of it will be fundamentals. 3/5 of it will be circuits. That's what we spent the time on. Review things. What we're going to have is the homework that week will be a sampling of problems that will be helpful. The labs that week will include a practice exam. I will try to upload last year's midterm modified to cut out anything we didn't cover. No quiz midterm week, so I find that a little silly. I think that's it. Yes. Oh, right. Yes. Thank you. Scantrons. Don't wait until the last minute. I will give you the stink eye. If enough people do it, I'll run out and then. So go to the bookstore on West Campus. You can't buy this at downtown. You can't buy this at Tempe. Ask them for the, what is it? The maroon Scantron, right? Maroons. Without shelf, provide thine own Scantron. You have been warned. Yes, I'll bring a couple, but I'll stop at you. Yeah. I mean, Kirchhoff is part of understanding circuits. So yeah, that's worth putting. Hey, the principles of voltage and current, the principles of how to analyze Kirchhoff's laws, voltage and current are absolutely things to understand. Okay, we're done. Adios. Auf Wiedersehen. Assalamu alaikum.
It's not always one particle electron that's going around the circuit and then the next time it goes this way. It's not a bunch of them flowing at one time. Okay, that's not like pipes and.
No, so pipes don't have one water molecule at a time. Electrons super small. You will have 500 zillion go through the first resistor, and then 200 zillion will go this way, and 300 zillion will go the other way.
Okay.
But then where do they end up? They'll just go back to the battery, and then they might take another loop, another tour of the circuit.
So it's the odds of it going one way or the other.
Yes.
Not the odds of all the electrons.
Like with bio,
I was thinking like going through these doors, a pressure would be faster than both doors versus the big door. But this was instead of that one, it's which one you got because it's less.
Yeah, and the circuit is like, we got lots of classes. We meet what 30 times in the semester. So you go in, you go out, you in, you go out. Sometimes you pick that door, sometimes you pick that door. Lots of students at any given time are going through that door. Lots of students at any given time are going through the other door.
I don't remember if I got
The current at an instant is composed of students flowing. the individual identity of the individual electrons, they
Yeah.
switch, which door they go to in multiple paths. Everything you said was true. Everything you said.
Yeah, I guess. Thank you.
Parallel is.
Both parallel and series.
There's no junction.
There's no junction. And tops and bottoms are both connected. Two component circuits is both series.
What? Agreed. Would
Agreed
would
what?
the resistance be 10? Would it be 1/10? 1 over.
There's only one resistor. You don't combine that. There's no R2.
But it's
R
in-
is just 10.
But it's in parallel with the battery.
You don't add batteries and resistors. You add resistors to resistors. You don't have batteries to resistors.
Okay, so it's only,
R1 and R2, not R1 and V1.
got you. So is current conserved, voltage conserved?
Always. Both current and voltage are identical in those. Every electron, every ampere that leaves that battery has to flow through that 10 ohm resistor, has to return back to the battery. And the voltage given by the battery is felt by the resistor, it's dissipated. in the resistor.
Got you.
So the current thing has to be 1.2.
So if this was 12, it would be 6 and 6, 12 and 12?
It's a 12
Yeah.
volt battery. 1.2 amps are gonna leave that battery. Those 1.2 amps have to flow into the resistor, have to flow out of the resistor, have to flow back into the battery.
No, I was
Current
talking
in the
about
circuit.
the delta, the drop in volts.
Drop in volts, 12.
It's 12.
12.
So it goes
You
from,
gain 12 in the battery, you drop 12 in the resistor.
so there's 0 volts on this end.
We define the negative terminal of the battery to be 0 volts.
So there's no